Hello, and welcome to Big Deb Energy Podcast. Today, I have a super special guest. This woman is an icon, everybody. Today, I have Sandra Mason here, who you may recognize from season 1 of the Golden Bachelor. Sandra stole the hearts of Bachelor Nation with her honesty, her sense of humor, and just her all around good vibes. So sit back, grab your coffee or your mimosa, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hi, Sandra. Welcome to Big Deb Energy.
Hello, Miss Deb Energy. I love that.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. We're having good weather here in the Atlanta area, and I'm just anxious to get outside and get in it and run errands before football starts. Yeah.
Yes. So, Georgia, were
Mhm.
you born and raised there?
Interestingly enough, I was born here, but not raised here. My parents moved to California when my sister and I were like 1 or 2 years old. But I came back here 24 years ago, and I thought it's a good move, smart move.
Nice. I've actually never been to Georgia except like a layover in the airport. It's
Yeah.
definitely on my list. I'm from Philadelphia. Have you ever been there?
I've not been to Philly, but Susan is from Philly, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
she actually lives in Aston, PA, and I went to Newman University, and that's actually in the same town that Susan lives in. So when I
Cool.
saw that, I was like, oh wow, small world, because you don't see a lot of people from the Pennsylvania area on reality TV that often. If you ever do end up in Philly, let me know, because I'll tell you everywhere to go, all the best food spots and things that you have to see, even though you're not missing much, to be honest.
Oh, okay, you said that I didn't. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm allowed to say it. I was born and raised in Philly, and it does have its pros and cons, just like
Like
everywhere.
any city, yes, of course.
Yeah. But you definitely have to go to an Eagles game if you ever end up in
I
Philly.
would I would do that. I'd go to any football game. I Hey, well, let me backtrack on that. I wouldn't pay to see the Falcons. I'd go if you were paying for it, but I wouldn't pay my own money. Yeah,
Right. If the
they're not a
opportunity
good
presented
product.
itself. Do you have a favorite football team?
No, I have 32. I
And
have a
they're
whole league at my disposal. I love it. Yes.
big hockey fan.
Okay, the
So me and
Flyers, right? Philly Flyers.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Like I grew up watching my grandma watch Flyers, and I think that kind of just was instilled into my brain because I do enjoy watching hockey, but I watch football too, but I was a cheerleader in high school. I had no clue what was going on. I just waited till everyone else started cheering and you
That
know.
sounds like my story. I was a cheerleader for 3 semesters. I don't know, but you're right. The sport was, we were doing our routines and trying to get the crowd involved. That was our job.
Right. Did you do stunts and stuff?
No, just choreographed dances, I'll call them. Yeah. See,
Okay.
what you don't understand is that was 100 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Life was a little different back then.
It was probably so much better, honestly.
In certain aspects, yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Different
which,
world today, different pressures, social media wasn't a word or a term. Mhm.
right. Which, you know what? Honestly, I wanted to get into this later, but what do you think, bringing up how we have social media now, and, you lived in a time where that was not a thing. You kind of just met your boyfriend or girlfriend at the grocery store, like how you see in the movies or at work, stuff like that. So, how do you think, living in a world where people weren't so focused on their cell phone,
Mhm.
do you think, how do you think that changed society and as far as relationships and dating? Do you think it made things better, worse, or?
It's hard to, with regard to dating, I've not thought of that. With some regard, I would think it makes it easier because there are things called dating sites. The whole WWW world changed the world. And so there's more opportunity to meet people, especially from afar. Now, like you
Right.
said, it's at the grocery store, maybe an introduction from a friend or family member kind of thing. But now we can meet people even one state over, and you can do that through the www kind of thing. In terms of social media for young folks, I think that's a toughie. I'm glad I wasn't raised in that environment because the pressures there are ginormous. This pressure to be an influencer and make that a career kind of thing. Um, I don't know. I'm glad my kids, they're adult women, but they're my kids, and I'm glad also they didn't have that social media influence um, until they were grown.
For sure. How
Yeah.
old are they?
How old are they? My oldest is 53, my youngest is 40. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not too far. I'm 33.
Yeah.
So, 40's around the corner for me. It
Oh, not
definitely
quite, but
comes fast. It does. But cell phones became a thing when I was like maybe 13, and it was just the simple like Nokia or
that's right.
then the tiny.
Motorola.
Yeah, like you just would play like the one snake game on the phone. I don't even think you could send text messages
Oh,
at
yeah.
that point.
Oh,
So
my first phone was a phone. I mean, literally, and it was big. You've seen them. They look like the letter C, and some of them had an antenna, and they cost 32 cents a minute to talk, whether
wow,
you're calling next door or long distance. I mean, it wasn't cheap.
that's expensive.
Very expensive. Even for back then, it was expensive. 32 cents is a lot. So, yeah. But that was the thing. And I remember I was a realtor at the time. And so I was so full of myself. I would sometimes be in my car holding my phone, pretending to have a talk with someone so people passing by would see that I had a phone. Like
Yes.
I was in, right? I was cool.
Hey, we all did things like that. We all did things like that for sure. So yeah, I brought up how my grandma, I used to watch the Flyers with her,
Mhm.
but I also used to every night at 7 o'clock, everything had to stop. The remote was hers, and Wheel of Fortune would come on.
Yes.
And that's how I grew up. So, and you were on Wheel of Fortune. So tell me a little bit about that. How did you end up auditioning? Was there an audition, and what was that process like? And
Oh, sure. Sure. Auditioning, yes. Well, I, like your grandmother, was a fan of the show. Matter of fact, I call myself a student of the show because I would watch. That was mom's half an hour of life every day that I was not engaged in family, spouse, friends, no one. That was my half hour of life. Shh,
yeah,
the
you
wheel
sound
is
just
on.
like
Mommy, no, no, the wheel is on. So anyway, and then I had an opportunity to go to LA for something my husband was involved in, and I called the 800 number to get an appointment to audition for the show. And they gave me the time and place and all that, and I got down there. There were 110 people that particular day. We stood outside waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they took us into this room that looked like any old classroom, had the old wooden desks with the return and the carvings in it. I don't know where they got this old ass furniture, but
that you really felt like a student at that point.
yes, yes. And then, the general introductions of what they're expecting and what they want and why you're here and housekeeping rules, I guess. And then they were passing out these forms face down, and it was the presidents or something like that.
Right.
And well, at any rate, it was one of those. They gave us 15 minutes to solve 15 puzzles, and we had to get at least eight correct. Out of the 110 people there, 11 people were left. I was one of them. I got nine correct. Phew.
Wow.
Okay. So I got to stay. They dismissed everyone with kind words. Come back in 6 weeks if you so desire and all that. And then the audition went from that to personal introductions. Well, who can't do that? If you can't introduce yourself, you don't belong on TV, right? Just tell a little about yourself. And then, okay, and then they put us through a little mock game. They had a little wheel up there, and the coordinators were your competitors, so to speak. And anyway, put us through a mock game. And it wasn't about getting the puzzle solved. It was about the energy you shared or exposed and how you carried your voice and just I guess they were just assessing if that person is TV worthy or not. And then they
Right.
would they would tell us, we need energy. We don't want people to fall asleep. We need energy. We want America to love you, blah, blah, blah. So and that was it. And they said, and then when we were done, they released us and they said, don't call us, we'll call you. So I left and well, didn't hear from anyone, didn't hear from anyone. And then one day I'm at work at my real estate office and the receptionist interrupted a conference I was in, which they were not supposed to do unless it was a family emergency or something. And she said, Sandra, I think you need to take this phone call. And I'm thinking, oh God, one of my kids fell down in the schoolyard or something. And it was one of the producers from The Wheel of Fortune, from Merv Griffin's Wheel of Fortune, and said that they would like me to come down to LA to film the show. And oh my God, my heart was pounding. I couldn't wait to go in and tell the clients I was with. I was bragging to them. I said, you're the first people to know this, and on and on. Did not tell my workmates, the other realtors, just told my broker. And so that if I didn't do well, no one knew really. But if I did do well, then I could throw a surprise, which
Right.
eventually I did wind up doing in the Monday morning meeting after I came back from filming the show. Uh, kind of surprised everyone. And it was fun. It was
That's
fun. Yeah.
awesome.
But that's not a game. That's not a contest that you can, I think, do well on if you're not a watcher of the show. Like if you really watch it and learn, you have to kind of know the English language well enough. You have to know how to spell, because they don't give you a lot of punctuation on that, as you know. And so anyway, maybe I'm getting too detailed for you, but
Right.
yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess considering like you had to like pretty much take a test kind of
yes.
at
Whew.
an audition. That's interesting. They want you to kind of have some kind of knowledge of
Yeah,
landmarks and people,
categories.
presidents, like you
Yeah.
said.
Back then, there were three categories: person, place, or thing, literally. Now they have a ton of categories that they've used. But yeah, person, place, or thing. And we filmed it just after they kind of stopped having you shop for prizes, like the famous Dalmatian or the sofa or the chair or the this or that. They actually were giving surprise, no, I mean, money, giving away different
Hey,
amounts of
no
money. Yeah.
complaints. Who
Yeah.
doesn't
So,
like that?
so on the wheel, the amounts didn't equate to money that you could shop with. It equated to money you could take home with you or get a check with later on. Get a check for later on. Yeah.
Right. How long? How
Well,
long?
well, as they say, they have up to 90 days to get you your check, to mail the check after the show airs. So if the show never airs, they're not required to pay you. Isn't that something? Yeah.
Wow. So there's times where they don't actually air the show.
I'm assuming because that was stipulated and they emphasized that more than once. And of course, in the contract, you know what contracts are like for this industry. It said that specifically, if the show doesn't air, we're not obligated to pay, which is kind of crappy. But anyway, I did
Yeah.
get paid because the show aired, and
Right.
um, they each show they have 17 people. They filmed 5 shows in a day. So Pat and Vanna didn't work 5 days a week, right? Okay, just so you know that.
So you were the winner.
I was the winner of my episode. Yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
It was thrilling,
What was the
thrilling.
prize?
Well, which prize? What do you?
You got more than one prize?
Right, because it was all monetary, except for the bonus round. I went to the bonus round. I guess that's what you're asking me, right? The bonus
Yes.
round options were land in Maine, the state of Maine. Nah. A couple of cars, funds, $25,000, and what else was there? I don't even remember. There might have been another one, another option, but at any rate, I chose the cash, of course. And you have to tell up front which one you're opting for, and before you answer the puzzle, solve the puzzle.
Oh wow, they're like you're all in or nothing.
Yes,
Wow.
it's a thrill. Wow, I wish I could do that again. But
Yeah, what an
yeah,
amazing experience.
it was.
Well, you know what's funny? We actually just had a Wheel of Fortune audition in Philly at one of the casinos,
Wow.
and I opened Instagram, and the first thing that popped up was the Wheel of Fortune audition. So I'm like, wow, and it was that day. It was that day and the next day.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is meant to be. I mean, I'm just waking up. That's the first thing I see. I have to go. I had work, but I didn't have to be until later. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. Did my hair and makeup, got dressed, prepared myself for what I was going to say, got in the car, pulled up.
Thousands of
Sandra,
people.
you said 110 people were at your audition. God bless, because when I pulled up, I couldn't find parking.
Mm,
And I think the line wrapped around like three times. And it's a huge casino. So I was like, I'm not, there's no way.
mm.
So then I went and got my nails done, and then I went back to
Yeah,
try again.
yeah.
And even when I was in the nail salon, I looked up at they have like a TV sometimes. I looked up, and they had like the news reporter was in the audition, like, interviewing people and stuff. So I'm interested to see if they pick anybody from Philly or if it's someone I know, because South Philly's so small, I know everybody. But
Wow.
so I tried to live through you.
Oh, bless your heart for trying that. Yeah. See, back then they made appointments for you to come. So there wasn't that demand, so or that response, I guess. And if
Yeah,
it was behind the scenes. It wasn't people standing in line. Aw. They'll
yeah,
probably have a Philly show. So when you say would they pick people from Philly, probably all the contestants were from Philly because now they promote different markets. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they'll have some of the puzzles are related to the the area, the
right,
state you're in, the city you're in. They'll promote the Philly cheesesteak or whatever it is. They
right.
yeah, yeah. And that's smart. That's marketing. That's why the NFL goes to London or wherever they're going to go because that pulls in more viewing audience and maybe someone will create a show that where the contestants are podster. Is that what you're called, a podster or a caster?
Yeah, like a podcaster. Yeah.
Podcast.
Well,
Maybe all the contestants will be podcasters.
that would be cool. Well, the media is starting to appreciate podcasts more. I think there's like someone won a Grammy or an Emmy for a podcast. Gabby Wendy, she was on The Bachelor, and
Yeah,
now she has a podcast. She won I think it was a Grammy, or it was a big award. She won that recently, so that, the world is starting to view podcast as an art of some sort.
right.
So I appreciate that for sure.
Interesting. I did not know she'd want anything. Oh, I'll
Yeah.
go find it. I'll go find
Yeah, she blew up. She blew up for sure.
it. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, maybe I become a podcaster. Hmm. Okay.
You'd be a great podcast host.
Think?
I think so.
Okay, if I ever become one, will you be a guest?
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
Oh God, we'll
You can
shake
have
on
me
it.
on every week.
Okay.
So it's no secret that you are a fan favorite on the Golden Bachelor. So now, did you ever think that you were not just going to be on one TV show, but then another one?
No, never thought I'd be on a show. Now, I had done when I was living in Washington State for a number of years, and I an agent found me, and so I auditioned for some commercials and whatnot, and I landed a couple of principal parts, and um,
Oh.
and that was exciting. It was something to do that wasn't just my real estate, and it helped get some clients. And so I did that for a while, and then that was before I moved here to Atlanta.
What commercials were you in?
I was in an Anheuser-Busch commercial. It was called Know When to Say When. And so for I think I remember they did 17 takes, and I was thinking, oh, what a business. 17 takes. I was on that commercial for 3.5 seconds. And because it played for so long, I earned over $50,000 in residuals. Hey, it was a 4-year run on that commercial. So it was a little over $50,000. Checks would just come in. Oh, okay. Cha-ching. I loved it.
Wow.
I knew nothing about the business then. Somebody said to me, "Did you know this was a national commercial?" And I said, "No, what does that mean?" And they like, brother, here's a newbie. She lands this lucrative commercial, doesn't even know what she's doing.
I mean, sometimes, you know, ignorance is bliss.
Yes, it was for me. It took pressure off me, I think. Just kind of,
Right,
"Oh, okay, national." Didn't know that that meant residuals and that I'd be getting checks and that kind of thing, and that people would recognize me, and that my workmates would come in the next day. I saw you on 60 Minutes, and I'd write it down or on a calendar, make sure I got paid correctly. Who knew if I got paid correctly? But whatever. So it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. The money was what made me feel good, not that it was I got to earn more, more. That's not
right.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just out here living life,
Yeah.
just giving everything a try and thriving. So good for you,
Fun.
honestly.
Yeah.
So, how'd you end up on the Golden Bachelor? And I mean, how iconic the first season. And, they've been advertising. I remember at the end of each Bachelor or Bachelorette episode, they would have, if you know anybody who's a senior who wants to, and they were, showing that for years. And I was saying, when are they going to do this? When are they going to do this? And I think that there was an article that there was a lack of interest from
Mhm.
that age group. And then finally a cast after like 3 or 4 years of talking about it. And one of the most iconic casts ever. So how did you end up on the Golden Bachelor? Did you sign up? Did somebody sign you up?
I signed me up. I was in 2022, November of 22. Zach Zach, I forget his last name, Zalcrost or Melcroft, whatever his name, Zach season. And they had during the commercial break, we're casting for seniors, go to abc.com/whatever. And I thought, oh, okay, let me do that. Because like the Wheel of Fortune, I'd watched The Bachelor from season one from Alex. And then Tristan, on and on and on. And so I was a fan of the show for every season. And so when that came on, I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. So I started filling in the application online, called my oldest daughter, she helped me do some wordsmithing, and I collected some photos that I had of me. And I thought, you know what? They don't want photos of me and my grandkids. They didn't have any, but I'm thinking to myself, they want something that's different. Everybody's got a dog, everybody's got grandkids. So what can I do that's different? So I submitted my picture of one of the on the Wheel of Fortune, and I had someone take pictures of me jumping in the air, and just I don't know what else. Oh, I had on a Oscar Wiener costume because the Oscar Wiener mobile had come to a local store, and I said, "Can I get in there?" And the lady said, "Sure." Put the Wiener costume on, so I submitted that. So anyway, I think those photos helped in the casting process,
Yeah,
and
so you
then
put
that
in a
was
little work.
yeah, I did. I put in some work and submitted those with it. And 3 months, I forgot about it, made the application, printed it out, put it in my binder, forgot about it. 3 months later, I get a phone call, started not to answer the phone because I didn't recognize this number. Eh, Answered it, and it was some young lady who introduced herself. And about 20, 25 minutes later, we chatted. She asked questions, kind of like questions you're asking now. Why? What's your purpose? What's your goal? What are you looking for? Kind of thing. And And then she said, I think I want you to talk with my casting director. And so, okay. We made the set up the Zoom, and then she said, you have any questions for me before we get off the phone? And I said, yes. What took you so long? You know how rude, right? And she said, well, Miss Mason, we've had, at that time, we've had 20,000 applications. So it's been a huge process. And you have made the first cut. So congratulations. And I said, oh my God, thank you. And then, of course, I apologized to her. And she said, no big deal. She said, I understand. It's been a while since you've applied. So anyway, that's how it all started. And then
That's
vet. Yeah.
that's awesome. No, I mean, they made a great choice because I mentioned this when we got on the call earlier that TV needs more people like you. We need more people with a personality like you. And one thing I love about you is that you're so elegant and classy, yet so funny and outspoken. And
Yeah.
that's kind of hard to balance. So, have you always been this way?
Mm, Probably. I guess so. I don't know. It's just always been me. So I guess the answer is yes. I don't know. I remember in middle school, what we used to call junior high school, there would be, I don't know, talent shows, I guess they call them. And my friends and I would do pantomiming to the cool songs, the Motown songs. So we'd be on stage and that kind of thing. So I guess. I can't sing worth a darn, but I can pantomime. So.
No, I love that. So you're just. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2.